J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit has inspired millions of people, thousands of artists, and these are just a few of them.
Well, it's interesting, cosplay costumes, because people that have gone to the trouble to make replicas of the work that you've created for a movie is immensely inspiring. It's hard to explain, but when you've toiled to create a film and create the characters within a film, along with a large team of people back home, and then to come halfway across the world and find young people so inspired by the films and the characters and the designs that they've gone to the trouble of making their own costumes, that is amazingly impacting on people like myself. So I love seeing all the Hobbit costumes on this trip. The fact that so many people go to so much trouble to do this, awesome.
See, that's actually an orchard. But I couldn't quite get his ear to fit. We got near on that side, but not this side, so...
Richard Taylor did my makeup on stage in front of the Middle-earth Exposed panel last night. Took roughly 2.5 hours, and he did full head. I had another set of armor and hair on. He works for Weta. He did costume design for Lord of the Rings and Hobbit.
The amazing thing about Richard Taylor is he is all about passion, and he's really inspired when he sees young people that are very passionate about what they do.
Weta is responsible for like the props and the weapons and the armor, and it's so beautifully made and it's so well thought out that you can't help but just admire it for its beautiful artwork.
He started at a very young age, and he kept at it his whole life through thick and thin, and he achieved what he wanted. And you can set your goals high, you'll get them if you keep trying. Yeah, he co-founded it with his wife.
Yeah, we started together in the 80s. We started in the back room of our apartment, just making cool stuff for the local industry. Thankfully, 5 years in, we met Peter Jackson, who was making amazing movies in his at home in his basement, and we hit off a friendship and very quickly formed the company Weta together.
Well, I've always been passionate about costumes, and so what I'm actually studying is costume design, because I love designing characters and I love getting to know characters, and I also love working with actors and dressing them for shows and all that fun stuff. So that's my goal in life, is to be a costume designer.
Just being able to get ready and put on the costume and get into character, and then go out there and have people get excited about seeing us dressed up as the characters we're dressed up as. Like, people will get really excited and want to take our photo and want to pose with us, and it's just a great feeling that we can make someone's day like that.
Being here has really kind of re-inspired me. I just remembered how much it actually affects people and how much people actually love what we do. And because, you're in your little cubicle designing away or making pieces of artwork that you think maybe will never get seen, or maybe nobody cares, and it becomes a daily humdrum sometimes. But then things like this are such a great reminder of how much people love what you do, and it's such a re-inspiration for me. So I'm feeling really pumped up about it right now.
Cosplayers have this unique way of giving back not only to the fans, but to the artists themselves, showing them how much they appreciate their work by doing cosplay.
I think it's just because, when you're walking around on the street, normal, everyday, everybody looks the same, but the minute you go to a convention and you see somebody that's in an outfit that you recognize, or just an outfit that you really love, this is like an advertisement for we have the same interest. So it's so much easier for people to pick out like-minded individuals, and you automatically know, like, this is the basis for starting a great friendship, that you both have this insane nerdy love for this ridiculous thing, like to the point where you are willing to put on a giant dress and a wig and walk around in front of tens of thousands of people to proclaim your love for this thing.
We've seen a few different really amazing women. In fact, there's one right behind you dressed as Keely. I've seen somebody dressed as Keely, Feely. I've seen a couple of people dressed as Thorn, although I wasn't a part of Thorn's design. But so seeing some of the dwarves, and I remember designing their hair and stuff like that, and being a part of seeing how the costume developed, and then seeing it on somebody else and they've like replicated it perfectly is really amazing.
In the case of Arwen and Galadriel and all the females, loved their wardrobes, loved all the accessories. The dwarves all looked great. The hobbits all looked fantastic. They did a really good job, again, bringing the world and the characters to life.
A lot of research goes into it, and I like going online and seeing what people are really responding to and what they're talking about as far as when they hear these things are coming out, and you know, it's for the fans, and we're all fans at Weta as well. For me, it was a real honor to be able to work on Smaug and bring him to life, and I'm really glad we settled on a very classic dragon design that was kind of recognizable for most of the fans. So yeah, he was very cool to work on, definitely.
Weighs close to about 100 pounds. It is not light. You sweat and sweat and sweat. I actually have a fan built into the helm here to actually help me breathe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've had to. This is metal. You can take it and, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's metal. Self-taught my everything. Like you say, you just pick it up and you start. And you learn, you research, lots and lots of research.
I feel like it's a great art form. It's a way to express yourself. You can be characters you've never been before in universes that don't exist in ours. So I feel like it's a way for people to get out of real life and experience what they actually want to do. I think there's the two halves of it. There's the one half that want to do his sort of work, which I would love to do that, but I'm more into the acting side of it. And there's the other half that, I just do it for the love of the characters.
They actually find the geeks are the bosses, the business owners, the people everyone looks to for the answers.
Well, we never actually imagined that we were going to do something this big at the beginning. We actually started our career in a 8-foot square room. You couldn't imagine when you're a young person that it would grow so big. You know, getting to do something like this with your life partner is a real thrill, and it gives you a chance to, you know, build a future in the creative arts.
I met Richard Taylor, the CEO of Weta. It was just amazing. He was just so blown away about the work that I did, and I was just overwhelmed that he was enjoying my work. I can't explain it. I was almost in tears. I was just so elated with joy and just overwhelmed. I was just trying to hold everything back, and he was just such a graceful man, and he just looking at every little piece that I did, and he was just shaking his head with astonishment, and I could not believe that this man loved my work. I couldn't explain it.
It's really fun when someone comes up to you and you snarl in their face and you're all, "Dus da gira, os de gas, ovo no ovo naus da nish." And you can really put the character in their head. It's the great feeling. It is an art form, definitely. It's one of the higher ones because not only are you making art, you're wearing it, and you're acting it out. So it's you're showing it off. It's like your own little, you know, museum piece.
I am cosplaying Tauriel from The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. She was a new character in the movie that I didn't know about from reading the book because she was just invented for the films. And I fell in love with her kind of the moment I saw her.
I'm playing Calabrian from the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It's a character, she's only in the book, but she's the daughter of Galadriel and the wife of Elrond.
I love doing cosplay because, I mean, I can't do this in my everyday life. My day job, you know, it stinks, so it's nice to go out and mingle with people that enjoy the same kind of hobby that you enjoy.
Once you're in it and you're in your costume you've made, no matter what the quality of it is, and people see that, they'll see it in your face. It's the best feeling in the world. I like it because it's like you idolize characters and you see, well, maybe I could relate to this one and I could be this one, and then you put that into a thought and you go, well, what if I made this into a costume? And then you kind of hatch it out, maybe in a drawing or just in a thought, and then you actually make it. And when it starts to work and come together, it's a wonderful feeling. It's crazy when you see a piece that you made and you're like, wow, that looks like what I was aiming for.
It's a great escape, and that's what entertainment is all about, is taking the audience to, in this case, Middle Earth. And it really did that with the movies, and you got to feel all of the romance and action and compassion that the movie has to offer.
What really resonated with Lord of the Rings is even though it's a fantasy book, it still feels very real. Like all the characters are relatable. There's nothing really crazy going on. There's these normal characters, these hobbits, the main characters, that you see them in their everyday life, and you can see, yeah, this is, you know, something I relate to, something that's everybody goes through, and then they're sent on this crazy adventure. So I just find that grounding in reality really pulls people in, and instead of being stuck in, I don't know, dragons and magic and fire and everything else, there's that thing that really ties the reader back into the story, and no matter what happens, you always have that anchor.
Tolkien told them to his son as childhood stories, and those were what he told him when he went to bed, and those are what I read when I went to bed when I was little, and I grew up with Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and I've always wanted to be a part of that universe.
If you are creative and you're driven, don't settle for anything less than a creative job. You know, no matter how long it takes, keep going, keep trying for it, and keep doing your particular type of artwork, because there are so many creative forms. You know, I happen to draw and sculpt, but there's so many other different ways to be creative.
I can't wait to get to work in the morning. I love what I do every day. Some of it's incredibly challenging, some of it can knock you over, but you get back up, and having passion for what you do brings joy into everything that you do, and couple that with a tenacious attitude, never give up, and that's made for a wonderful creative journey.
Growing up, my brother and I were in a Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit household. Everything was J.R. Tolkien. We watched the cartoons, we read the books, we listened to the radio dramas. We had this passion for those stories, and it really sculpted my imagination. It was incredibly important to who I was growing up as a child and as a man, and because of that, I asked Richard Taylor to help me propose to my girlfriend, who actually is now my fiance.
Hello Megan, it's a beautiful thing to be able to say hi to you on this special opportunity, because Todd has asked me if I can let you see this beautiful object, and this is probably coming to you very, very shortly. Our love and best wishes to you and Todd. There's nothing cooler than marrying the one you love, and as a veteran of 33 years, being a man that has married his partner in life but also his partner in business, it's a cool thing to know that you and Todd are working together, and will soon seal it with Galadriel's ring. So all joy to you.
Hi, I'm Todd Kenrick, the director for Cosplay Boom.
And I'm producer Megan Sadler,
who is also my fiance. The cosplay community is full of inspiring people,
and we want to keep showing you that.
Your encouragement and your pledges make a huge difference.
And people who pledge will get awesome rewards on Patreon.
Also, Patreon will give you a personal tour into our world.
And every dollar you pledge will help us get closer to our fundraiser goals and make better videos.
You can see all of our fundraising goals and all our awesome rewards on our Patreon page by clicking on the link in this post.
With your help, you can help us make Cosplay Boom the best project ever.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.